This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Tonight on The South Today, the government has announced major COVID-19 vaccination plans for the country. East Otago residents are set to find out at a meeting tonight about lead contamination in their water. And some on the Otago Peninsula are in the dark about scheduled power cuts to fix long-standing issues. Kia ora, good evening, I'm Daryl Baser. The government hopes to have 2 million Kiwis vaccinated against COVID-19 within the next 4 months. This afternoon, COVID-19 Response Minister Chris Hipkins said those with relevant health conditions or aged above 65 will be offered the vaccine first. Minister Hipkins says the remaining population should be offered the vaccine from July.
The biggest factor in lifting COVID-19 restrictions will be timely and high uptake of vaccines. Again, it takes an enormous amount of work across a very wide range of people to roll out an immunisation program of this size, the largest such undertaking New Zealand has ever undertaken. And I want to thank everybody who has been involved in getting it to this point and who will be involved in the work that we take forward from here.
The Pfizer vaccine, which the government has secured 8 million doses of, has been shown to be 95% effective. The plan doesn't include details about when New Zealanders needing to head overseas will be offered the vaccine. East Otago residents will find out tonight what authorities have learnt about the lead contamination in their water supply. The communities of Waikouaiti, Hawkesbury Village and Karatane are still waiting for answers 5 weeks after the Dunedin City Council revealed it had known about the contaminated drinking water for 6 months. Intermittent spikes in the levels of lead meant a no-drink notice was issued on February 2nd. It remains in effect and could be so for months to come. A full house is expected at tonight's meeting, where the Southern DHB will also report back on results and analysis of blood tests carried out since the contamination was revealed. The cost of developing property in Dunedin is set to increase as the council looks to make developers contribute more. The Dunedin City Council says the proposed new rates will be some of the cheapest in the country.
Prices to develop sections are set to more than double in some areas of Dunedin. Dunedin City councillors voted yesterday to send an updated development contributions policy out for public consultation. The council says the proposed new rates will still be some of the cheapest in the country.
So historically, we've been relatively low compared to others that are charging DCs throughout the sector. The proposed changes, again comparing to the current charges for those other territorial authorities, obviously they're going through their 10-year planning process. We will be higher than what we had previously, but still below most of the metros.
Development contributions, which are a one-off charge paid by developers, are used to fund growth-related infrastructure. Charges included the removal of $5,000 caps on specific infrastructure types.
So what they're reflecting is the change in the capital program that we've put in place for the 10-year plan, and obviously taken into account a number of factors, including the interest rate environment that we're currently in, because obviously we're allowed to recover interest costs.
Councillor Carmen Houlihan was the lone nay vote on the proposal after receiving numerous complaints from developers.
When we've got a housing crisis, I think that's a real concern.
Developers who spoke to the Otago Daily Times say while the contributions may be lower than other parts of the country, Dunedin was still an expensive place to develop property. Councillor Jim O'Malley said it was expected that contribution rates would go up as rates of growth increased.
And if it's not funded through development contributions, it will go directly to the ratepayer. So if you do not support development contributions, you support the ratepayer paying for this and an increased burden on the general ratepayer.
The report to councillors stated there would be targeted engagement with developers as well as the public alongside the 10-year plan consultation. In Dunedin, the South Today.
Police have arrested 4 Dunedin men after seizing drugs valued at up to $33,000. Dunedin's organised crime team executed a number of search warrants this morning, targeting the production and supply of MDMA, ketamine and Nutalone. Police seized the drugs along with a pistol and approximately $20,000 in cash. The 4 men, aged 25, 26, 29 and 45, were arrested and face a number of charges relating to the production, possession and supply of Class A, B and C drugs. The men appeared in the Dunedin District Court today. Otago Peninsula residents are set to be without power for significant periods of time as Lines Company Aurora completes scheduled maintenance. The day-long power cuts were signalled by the company, but some on the peninsula say communications from Aurora could have been clearer.
Many hands making the lines work. Dozens of contractors are working for Lines Company Aurora to replace a total of 16 kilometres of power lines and poles on the peninsula. Peninsula Board Chairman Paul Pope met with the Lines Company recently to try to mitigate any issues before work began.
So we had a meeting with Aurora last week. There was a bit of a mixed message from Aurora and from the various power companies about the closures, and we sort of said we wanted to see the communications improved from that perspective. So one of the things that Aurora's done, they've come to the party, and for example the people in the Allens Beach Road area, people who have no power for a day, they've actually got a $20 voucher to go and use our local cafe at here in Portobello, so which is good.
Staff at the Albatross colony on Taiaroa Head are so used to the power going out, they've got their own generator and a series of extension cords crisscrossing the building. Hoani Langsbury says it's not ideal as their generator is just useful enough for essential communications and can't run their audio-visual presentations.
That part of our business isn't able to operate on a day like this. Same as our retail space is kind of in the dark, and as you would have seen as you came through the Macmillan Gallery, completely in the dark, so no one can look at those sort of things.
Paul Pope says about 500 people on the peninsula are being affected by power outages over the month, but he says help is at hand for those who need it.
For us, it's really about actually making sure that the people who are just most inconvenienced by that, we can somehow help them and keep them going.
Pope says in the early days there were communication issues, which have been resolved, albeit not quite quickly enough for a group of cycle tourists who rode from McAndrew Bay to the Albatross colony hoping for food at the cafe.
And we cycle out here to enjoy the views and perhaps have a coffee and something to eat. However, we have found that there's no food at the inn, so we'll enjoy the view anyway and enjoy pleasant surroundings, and we'll share out what meagre rations we've got, and we might be able to make it back, but nobody should come looking for us if we're not back by nightfall.
The rolling power cuts are due to continue for the rest of March as Aurora Energy spends $2.5 million in a bid to improve the reliability of the power supply to the area. On the Otago Peninsula, the South Today.
And still to come on the South Today, we go to the birds. One case of a bird being caught in flight, and another now very famous albatross making a hard landing. See you after the break.
Hi, it's Lindsay here from Alex Campbell Menswear. Our 3 stores have got a deal for you. We're going hard, we're going early, so we've gone hard on the prices, 50% off, a great selection. Shorts, look at all these shorts. T-shirts, they're all half price. Check out all those tees along there. What about all these ones down here? Also at a great saving, 50% off. We're going hard, we're going early. Polo shirts, short sleeve shirts, there's such a variety.
Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
It's the Alex Campbell Menswear, go hard, go early, summer sale. Don't miss this one.
Ah, TV, our favourite babysitter. But it can be tough keeping up with what our tamariki are watching. Luckily, the Broadcasting Standards Authority has made some smart changes to the classification labels. Ooh, plus changes to the time of day certain rated shows will air, and awesome new parental lock features, meaning your babysitter's job is safe. Find out more at safeviewing.co.nz.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
No mai no, welcome back. Southland is changing from a restricted to an open fire season from 8 AM this morning. This means anyone planning to light an open fire won't need a permit prior to lighting. The region has held a restricted fire season since the 4th of February. Principal Rural Fire Officer Timo Berlin says recent rain around Southland has reduced the fire risk. A viral video of a man clutching a protected bird in a Dunedin street has upset the Department of Conservation. The video has been viewed more than 30 million times and has gained its creator, Taylor Meachian, thousands of followers on TikTok after it was posted on Sunday. The short clip shows a swarm of gulls circling overhead, eager for a shot at the man's food. In a follow-up video, Meachian says capturing the bird was an accident. Doc Otago says the organisation is disappointed by the video. The red-billed gull is protected and a colony at Taiaroa Head near Dunedin is the only one in Dunedin, in New Zealand, not in decline. And as we mentioned yesterday on the South Today, a video from the Royal Albatross camera on Taiaroa Head showing an albatross landing poorly has gone viral. Albatross Centre Manager Hoani Langsbury is glad the live feed camera is entertaining so many people across the globe.
Not quite the perfect landing, but according to the boss of the Taiaroa Head Albatross Centre, this bird's landing is Steve par for the course.
Well, I think it depends on how many times you've watched albatross land. So yeah, me looking at it, it looks like a pretty average landing for an albatross. They're a very large bird, 3 metre wingspan, and we're here at Pukekura, Taiaroa Head, where on any day it can be blowing from 5 knots up to 50.
In the video, the adult bird comes in a bit too hot before flipping over onto its back and flailing its legs around in the air like it's pedalling an imaginary bicycle. Royal Albatross Centre Manager Hoani Langsbury says the giant birds are typically more graceful in the air than when landing, which can be difficult for them as they don't do it that often on the ground, especially when they land for the first time after fledging and being at sea for about 4 years.
So when they return here to land for the first time, actually it's the first time they've ever landed on land, because once they leave here, all their landing's on water and it's pretty soft. And probably a bit forgiving if you fly into it a little bit hard. But here, when a chick returns for that first time to Pukekura, it crashes into the ground because, you know, it's never even had a test. That's its first go, a bit like a child learning to walk for the first time.
He says some albatross can take 20 to 30 attempts at landing before getting their ducks in a row. Hawani Langsbury describes how an albatross typically touches down on terra firma.
An albatross will pretty much fly into the headland. They'll get to within about a metre of the ground, and a bit like a skydiver, they'll flare their wings and they just drop out of the sky. So if the wind happens to drop away underneath them, or a gust hits them just at the time that they flare their wings to land, it all goes to pieces. So, you know, we see albatross rolling down headlands. And
he says there's no records of birds actually injuring themselves landing this disgracefully. The Department of Conservation's Royal Camp at Taiaroa Head has gained millions of views of eggs hatching and bird rearing since the live stream began in 2016. In Dunedin, The South Today.
And after the break on The South Today, we catch up with the Queen of the Tennis Court at age 86 and have a look at the outlook for Thursday and beyond. See you after the break.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
Hi, it's Lindsay here from Alex Campbell Menswear. Our 3 stores have got a deal for you. We're going hard, we're going early, so we've gone hard on the prices, 50% off, a great selection. Shorts, look at all these shorts. T-shirts, they're all half price. Check out all those tees along there. What about all these ones down here? Also at a great saving, 50% off. We're going hard, we're going early. Polo shirts, short sleeve shirts, there's such a variety.
Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
It's the Alex Campbell Menswear. Go hard, go early, summer sale. Don't miss this one.
Welcome back. Dunedin great-grandmother Jean Stevens has taken out a top New Zealand tennis prize at the ripe age of 86. Jane Stevens still plays the game multiple times a week and doesn't show any signs of slowing down anytime soon.
Jean Stevens is not slowing down. The 86-year-old Dunedin great-grandmother has just been named New Zealand's Senior Tennis Player of the Year after winning big in the 85 years plus grade at the World Tennis Champs in Croatia.
I won the 85 plus singles and mixed doubles.
Stevens started playing when she was 5 and never stopped. She represented Otago as a young adult but was never a top-ranked player. At her peak, Stevens and 3 other women represented New Zealand for a tournament in Perth.
New Zealand has lots of teams in these age groups. And I've been playing, the first one was in Perth in 2001, I think it was, 20 years ago.
She still plays 3 times a week at least and simply loves the game.
Yeah, everybody can play, doesn't matter how old you are.
Stevens has no intention of giving up the game, although she will probably not attend this year's team's tournament, also in Croatia. In Dunedin, The South Today.
And now recapping tonight's top stories on the South Today. The government has announced major COVID-19 vaccination plans for the country at a briefing this afternoon. Developers' costs are set to rise as the DCC makes changes to the costs of developments. And some on the Otago Peninsula are in the dark about scheduled power cuts to fix long-standing issues. Time now for a look at what's happening in tomorrow's Otago Daily Times. We welcome Mr. Hayden Meikle. G'day, buddy.
Good evening, Daryl. How are you?
Good.
Good, excellent. Plenty happening out there today. Miserable wet day in the south. Speaking of wet, water, another big meeting about this Waikouaiti Karatani water situation. 7 o'clock tonight. We've got a team from the ADT heading on up there. Don't know what's going to happen. We're expecting there to be some news around blood level testing, lead in the water, etc, etc. Will we find out more about the source? Who knows? But read tomorrow's paper for all of the very latest. That'll be on page 1, no doubt about that. And a very concerning story out of Queenstown. Now we all know Queenstown has been sort of ground zero for post-COVID economic suffering. Today some survey results showing a full third of Queenstown businesses are saying they think they'll be closed within months. So that's a lot. Heck of a lot. So we're talking to a couple of businesses. We've got all of the survey results which show what local businesses are thinking. But boy, that's grim. Another sign that town is facing a really, really difficult time post-COVID. So, and of course, linked to COVID, the vaccine rollout, as we've heard today, it was announced. We'll have all the latest details on that. I think fairly understandable reaction. The most at-risk people will get it first. And 4 million people vaccinated in 4 months, so very exciting stuff. And America's Cup, so it all started today, race 1, then race 2. Race 1 looked very good, race 2 not so good for Team New Zealand. We'll have the latest from that and all sorts of other goodies in our sports pages tomorrow, so plenty of stuff to read, Daryl, plenty of good stuff in there.
Big reads all round. Thanks, buddy. Good on. Time now for a look at tomorrow's weather.
Tonight's weather proudly brought to you by Mole Map.
Beginning with the southern view, one of the first oak leaves to turn red this autumn in Dunedin. Looking at the situation, mostly fine through the weekend as high pressure brings mostly clear skies, cool nights and a pleasant daytime temperatures. Starting off at the northwest of the South Island, expect cloudy skies with 22 degrees in Greymouth and 19 for Westport. To the northeast of Te Waipounamu, scattered cloud for Blenheim, you're heading for 19 degrees, while it'll be similar and slightly warmer in Nelson as you look towards 21. And to Canterbury, grey skies and rain for Kaikoura as you head for 16 degrees. Christchurch and Ashburton also head for 16, but you've got cloud without the rain. Heading to the southern towns, light winds and clear skies with 16 degrees for Lumsden. You're looking at 17 degrees for the Catlins, Balclutha and Gore. Heading across to central Otago, expect light winds and a fine day for most areas with 18 degrees in Queenstown, Wanaka and Alexandra. It'll be similar in Tiano with 16 degrees. Heading to the northern towns, light southerlies, some cloud on the coast with 16 degrees for Timaru and Oamaru. It's similar inland with 19 degrees for Twizel and 18 in Omarama. In Dunedin, it'll be cloudy tonight with cool southwesterlies and an overnight low of 6 degrees. Expect occasional cloud tomorrow with moderate cool southwesterlies at first. The wind changes to northeast during the afternoon. A high of 15 and a low of 4. Sunny periods and scattered cloud on Friday with variable winds. A high of 17 and a low of 8. And in Invercargill, fine and cold tonight with an overnight low of 4 degrees. Sunny periods and some cloud tomorrow with moderate to cool southwesterlies dying out. It'll be cold tomorrow night, a high of 15 and a low of a nippy 2 degrees. Mostly fine and sunny on Friday, milder with light northerlies, a high of 18 and a low of 6. And that's all from the South Today team for this Thursday. For the latest news from the southern region, head online to odt.co.nz and follow Channel 39 on Facebook and YouTube. Have a great evening. Ka kite anō.
This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.